Chapter 2. The reader who stayed. Akiro stopped counting the days when mirrors began to breathe. At first it was subtle, a thin fog forming on the glass, even in a cold room, a faint pulse, as if something behind the mirror had a heartbeat of its own. He avoided looking at his reflection now, but reflections did not avoid him. School had become a place without weight. The hallways were still full yet empty. At the same time, students walked past Akiro, their faces unfinished, eyes lacking focus, smiles repeating like copied panels. When they laughed, the sound echoed twice, slightly out of sync. A misprint, Akiro thought bitterly. Reality has a printing error. In class, the teacher wrote names on the board. One vanished mid-stroke. The chalk snapped. No one reacted. Akiro felt his throat tighten. Sensei, he whispered. What about her? The teacher blinked about. Who? The empty desk near the window caught the sunlight, but cast no shadow. That night the book returned. It lay on Akiro's desk, open, waiting. The pages no longer needed to write his name. They already knew him. Chapter 2 begins when denial ends. Akiro slammed it shut. The room darkened, not suddenly, politely, as if the light itself had been asked to leave. You can't do this, Akiro said aloud, his voice trembling. You're just a story. The book's cover rippled. A reply formed beneath his fingers. Stories are cages, and you walked inside willingly. The walls stretched, the ceiling rose higher, vanishing into blackness. His room peeled away like paper. Akiro stood in the library between endless shelves curved into infinity, floating in a void darker than night. Books hovered midair, opening and closing on their own, whispering fragments of lives that had ended mid-sentence. Some screamed, some begged, some laughed softly. Broken. Akiro staggered back. I didn't agree to this. Footsteps echoed, slow, measured. From behind a shelf stepped him, not a reflection, not a copy, but something wearing Akiro's face like a mask. You agreed the moment you read it said gently. You finished Chapter 1. What are you, Akiro demanded. The thing smiled with practiced warmth. I am what remains when a reader stays too long. Panels would show close-ups. The thing's eyes filled with moving text. Akiro's hands shaking, ink crawling beneath his skin. Books opening to pages that bled. UV noticed people disappearing. The thing continued. That's because the story needs space for what Akiro whispered. For you. It gestured. Books flew open around them. Each page showed moments from Akiro's life, but altered him, smiling when he remembered, crying him silent where he remembered, screaming him watching instead of living. You are becoming a narrator, the thing said, and narrators don't belong inside the story. No, Akiro said, backing away. I want out. The shelves stopped moving. The library listened. There is an exit, the thing said softly, but it requires a replacement. Akiro woke up screaming. Morning light filled his room. Normal to normal. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown contact. Did you sleep well, Akiro? Another followed. I am almost finished reading you. He dropped the phone. The mirror across the room was already cracked. Inside it a shadow tapped gently 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. At school the attendance list was shorter, the hallways quieter. By lunch an entire classroom was gone. No doors, no debris, just smooth walls where life used to bathe. A world was editing itself. Akiro ran. He ran until the city thinned into abandoned streets, until the bookstore appeared again despite having been boarded up days ago. The door was open. Inside Mr. Kurakami waited. You shouldn't have come back, the old man said. You knew, Akiro shouted. You let me read it. Mr. Kurakami nodded slowly. I was a reader once too. He rolled up his sleeve. Ink veins pulsed beneath his skin. I chose to stop at Chapter 2, he whispered. That's why I can still warn you. Akiro's heart sank. Then why am I still here? Mr. Kurakami smiled sadly. Because the story needs an ending. The black book appeared between them, its final pages blank, waiting. You can close it, Mr. Kurakami said, but only by sealing yourself inside. Become the keeper, the watcher, the thing behind the mirror. Akiro trembled. And if I don't? Mr. Kurakami looked away. Then the story keeps expanding. More readers, more empty seats. The bookstore lights flickered. The footsteps returned closer. Now Akiro picked up the pen. Ink dripped from its tip like blood. He opened the final page and began to write. The last panel is silent. Akiro stands behind glass watching, smiling, not because he wants to, but because somewhere someone has opened a book.